Is woke really dead, or is South Park just saying what everyone else is too afraid to admit? Welcome to Hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. I write for GoRightNews.com, and this is Hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. When a cartoon hits harder than Congress. It started the way many modern culture shocks do, in front of my streaming device, cycling through expectations, chuckles, eye rolls, and everything in between. The premiere of South Park Season 27 hit the screen, and within 5 minutes, I was laughing, shocked, offended, and thinking. That's rare these days. In a world where late-night TV is dead, where comedians are afraid to be funny, and where superheroes now have to pass a political purity test, South Park did what most of the media won't. It punched everyone in the face equally and dared us to laugh while bleeding. But as the final credits rolled and the screen faded to black, I wasn't just entertained. I was left staring at the reflection in the blank screen, quietly asking myself, did woke really die?
We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth they're too scared to say. From the right side of history, lighting the way. Let's go right now or fade away. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth they're too scared to say. From the right side of history, lighting the way. Just go right now or fade away. Go right, go bold, stay loud, stay cold. For the flag, for the fight, Peter Boykin takes hold. Go right now or fade away. Go right, go bold, stay loud, stay cold. For the flag, for the kin takes hold. You're not alone, your voice is strong, and we're just getting started. Let's go right. Go right. Go right.
Welcome back to Go Right News, where we tell the truth no matter who it offends. If you're here, you already know, we're not here to pander. We're not here to virtue signal. We're here to look at culture, politics, and society through the lens of the Constitution, common sense, and courage. Let's break down what South Park just did and why it matters more than any soundbite from cable news. South Park returns and declares the death of woke. Season 27 of South Park didn't just return with satire, it returned with hellfire. The premiere episode, Sermon on the Mount, set off a cultural earthquake by shoving every sacred cow, left, right, religious, political, straight into the wood chipper. The show depicted President Donald Trump naked in bed with Satan, mocked the recent legal settlement between Trump and Paramount, South Park owns corporate overlords, and laughed its way through the sudden cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. All of this came just days after South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone signed a 50-episode streaming deal with Paramount, then stood on stage at a Comic-Con and apologized by deadpanning, "We're terribly sorry." But they weren't, and neither are we. Because this episode didn't just bring back offensive comedy, it brought back cultural truth. It declared what many Americans have been thinking for years. Woke is dead. And strangely enough, despite mocking DEI, Trump, religion, NPR, and leftist ideology all in one episode, no major outreach followed. Meanwhile, a movie like Superman sparked this firestorm of criticism simply for including kindness and immigration in its themes. One gets celebrated, the other gets torched. Why? Because South Park speaks the truth, and we let it. Superman tries, and we panic. Let's dive into what South Park really said and what happened, and why its brutal honesty is exactly what this country needs right now. Inside the episode Sermon on the Mount, the story begins with Cartman and Butters realizing that woke culture has collapsed. NPR is defunded, DEI officers are gone, identity politics is no longer the law of the land. With no outrage left to cash in on, Cartman spirals into panic. Then comes a twist. PC Principal doesn't get fired, he reinvents himself. He becomes Power Christian Principal, swinging from woke enforcer to religious authoritarian. Pronouns are out, hymns are in, public schools go from about identity politics to being about forced faith. The message is clear: when you don't fix broken systems with balance, you don't fix them at all, you just flip the script. Cartman's crisis signals the end of weaponized victimhood. After DEI programming is erased and pronouns replaced with hymns, Cartman has no power left to exploit. That's when he snaps. He tried to cash in on anger, but when that anger evaporated, so did his relevance. Cartman represents the outrage economy activists, influencers, DEI consultants who built careers on victimhood. But when the mob moves on, their narrative evaporates. And South Park got that right. Cartman's meltdown isn't just a gag, it's a message. And then comes one of the darkest and funniest moments in the episode. Cartman and Butters enter a suicide pact. Well, Butters not so much. Deciding to die by carbon monoxide poison in a car. But the car is electric. There are no admissions. They sit in silence, waiting to die, and nothing happens. It's absurd. It's quiet. But it's South Park doing what it does best, exposing how clueless people can be when they're trapped in a world they don't understand. But there's an issue. Why many only see the Trump jokes and miss the real message. Let's be honest, lots of people walked away or turned off their screens angry at the Trump satire, and I don't think it's going to go away, folks. They saw Trump in bed with Satan and dismissed the entire episode as left-wing propaganda. But what they missed is that South Park isn't attacking Trump alone. It's attacking the extremes. It's saying that yes, we voted for Trump, but maybe the evangelistic zeal of MAGA went too far. Maybe the GOP's flirtation with national theocracy, like the speaker claiming that the Constitution doesn't require separation of church and state, is just as dangerous as woke overreach. That's the point behind PC Principal becoming Power Christian Principal. By flipping from one form of ideological coercion to another, the show warns extremes aren't solutions, they're just different prisons. So woke is dead, and South Park proved it. Woke culture started as a call to awareness, but it was hijacked and weaponized into a tool of control. It became censorship in the name of safety, racism in the name of equity, weakness in the name of compassion, and conformity in the name of inclusion. South Park didn't just make fun of us, it held a mirror to it. PC Principal didn't disappear, he became something worse. Cartman didn't grow, he crashed. Butters didn't resist, he followed. The message? If we keep letting power shift into pushing for real values, truth, merit, liberty, we'll keep replacing one bully with another. In that electric car scene, it proved something deeper. Even the exit plan doesn't work when you don't understand the system you're trapped in. And we're going to talk about that issue again. The message. If we keep letting power shift without pushing for real values, that's truth, merit, liberty, we'll keep replacing one bully with another. Why South Park gets a pass while Superman gets torched before takeoff. As South Park threw cultural grenades in every direction, at Trump, DEI, MAGA zealots, and religious overreach, Audience laughed, flinched, and surprisingly let it happen. There were no mass calls to cancel Trey Parker and Matt Stone, no boycotts, no hashtags, just stunned applause and viral clips. I mean, you had the White House that answered, but actually that just kind of made it more popular. But contrast that with what happened to Superman, a film that had barely even premiered before it was condemned. I mean, people online going, it's woke, it's feminist, it's woke, it's feminist. I'm like, have you even seen the film? No, I just don't. I've been told it's not good. Well, the moment it was announced that the reboot would happen to include themes like kindness, empathy, and immigration. I mean, they called Superman an immigrant. Critics on the right declared it woke garbage. The internet lit up with claims that Superman had been hijacked by progressives before anyone else had even seen more than a few frames of footage. So why the double standard? Because we expect South Park to offend us. Its entire legacy is built on punching both directions and dragging every ideology into the mud. We trust that no one escapes unscathed. It's honest, if irrelevant. But with Superman, we expect sincerity, we expect hope, and we expect our childhood heroes to steer clear of cultural wars. So when Superman dares to be kind or inclusive, some recoil, not necessarily because they hate those values, but because we've been trained to assume that sincerity now equals agenda. It's a tragedy of our modern culture that irony earns trust and virtue earns suspicion. This cultural whiplash reveals something deeper. We want satire to expose lies, but when we no longer trust stories to tell the truth, we accept the brutal honesty from the cartoon, but panic when a caped hero preaches compassion. Here's the difference. South Park doesn't pretend to be polite. It's not meant for families. It's not designed to comfort anyone. It's made to punch holes in lies, no matter who's telling them. From Al Gore to Donald Trump, from religion to identity politics, South Park goes after everyone. That's why it gets a pass. You expect it to offend. And because it offends everyone, people respect it even when it stings. And it stung. But Superman, that's different. He's a symbol, an American icon. He's supposed to be clean-cut, noble, and above politics. So when director James Gunn described Superman as an immigrant who believes in kindness, some people lost their freaking minds. No lectures, no gender swapping, just kindness. And that was enough to trigger a backlash. It shows where we are. We don't trust our heroes anymore. But we trust our satirists to tell us the truth. We've become a culture that laughs at honesty, but shouts at virtue. We'll be right back with my overall commentary. We'll be right back.
On the scruff, South Park hit like a cultural blast. Colbert's gone, DA's a ghost, and Carmen's crying for a job post. PC's now a preacher in a Sunday suit. From pronouns to Bible rules, ain't that cute? Outrage is out, silence is in, but nobody's sure who's gonna win. It ain't about Trump or rainbow pride. It's a whiplash war on every side. No cape, no crown, no compromise. Just satire burning through the line. Is woke really dead? Or just passed out in a padded bed? Did we trade our truth for trending threads? Laugh while the culture bleeds red. Is woke really gone? Or reborn with a different song? 'Cause when extremes fight on and on, we all lose what we stood on. Cardman cracked 'cause the mob's moved on. He's got no pronouns, no rights to pawn. Victimhood's out, but the fear's still strong, and the silence in the Tesla's singing wrong. But Superman tried to stand with grace, and they tortured him before he took his place. Truth ain't safe and kind ain't cool. If you don't mock both sides, you're a fool. It's not left, it's not MAGA pride. It's extremes kill side. DA's dead, flags disappeared, but the new regime ain't crystal clear. Is woke really dead, or just sleeping with the lights instead? Did we swap the leash for a golden thread? Smile while the mob eats bread. Is woke really gone, or dressed up with a different song? When we cancel right and wrong, who the hell do we lean on? Let's outpark, mock what's lost and fake. Let Superman fall for kindness sake. Let freedom roar, let cowards shake. This ain't satire, it's an earthquake. Is woke really dead, or did it crawl back in your head? We don't need new chains in red. Just give us truth, not fear instead. Is woke really dead? Then bury it with what it said. We'll fight with words, not dread. Long live the free, not the fed. We need truth, we need liberty, not another woke obituary. We need truth, we need liberty, not another woke obituary.
Welcome back to hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. It's time for the hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin commentary. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Again, you can catch this full article on GoRightNews.com, and we'll also be posting it on the podcast apps on Spotify and Spreaker and Apple and everywhere else in between. You can also donate on our website as well. So, it's Cartman's breakdown. Is it a warning that outrage culture only works until the mob moves on? So let's be honest, a lot of people didn't see the episode's brilliance because they've got hung up on the jabs at Donald Trump. Yes, the imagery of Trump in bed with Satan is jarring, but it's also the point. South Park isn't picking sides. It's calling out all sides, including the evangelistic wing of MAGA, including the Speaker of House, who recently claimed the Constitution doesn't mandate separation of church and state. It's satire, but it's also a wake-up call. Cartman's breakdown wasn't just funny, it's prophetic. When the world shifted from woke to not woke, he didn't celebrate. He cracked, because he had nothing left to exploit. The outrage machine dried up, and that's a mirror for a lot of so-called influencers who only know how to be victims or villains. Even as myself, someone who proudly founded Gays for Trump, I felt that cultural whiplash personally. I never needed rainbow flags in the office, but when they vanished, especially in this June, along with DEI support, it felt like a trap door opened up underneath us. Pride recognition was gone. The visibility that made us feel seen, even if it was corporate, disappeared. And I wondered, had we just been pushed back into the closet by a different kind of authoritarianism? Because that's what South Park showed us. Extremes beget extremes. First, woke was forced, then anti-woke became the new gospel, and the truth got lost somewhere in between. We were told DEI conflicted with the Constitution. Maybe it did. Well, at least equity does. But we were never told what would replace it. And now that it's gone, the flags are gone too, the conversations are gone, the dignity is gone, and no one seems to care. We can't keep living in a culture of whiplash. We can't keep swinging from one extreme to another and calling it freedom. We need to get back to truth, back to liberty, back to common sense, and yes, back to constitutional sanity. Let South Park be rude. Let Superman be kind. Let us be brave enough to admit that both might be right in their own way. We don't need a theocracy or a virtue cult. We need a constitutional republic that actually respects all citizens, not just the loudest ones. We don't have to trade tyranny for tyranny. We can reclaim what this country stood for: truth, common sense, responsibility, constitutional liberty. We need merit, not identity checks. We need thinkers, not followers. We need respect for biology and free speech, not rules enforced by PR consultants. We live in a constitutional republic, not an emotional echo chamber. The Bill of Rights protects liberty, not feelings. So let me say it with clarity. Men can't give birth. Silence is not violence. Speech is not hate. Comedy is not a crime. Disagreement is not oppression. We keep bending. They keep pushing. The more we apologize, the more they rewrite truth. Let South Park be crude. Let Superman be noble. But let the rest of us be brave enough to be honest, even if it costs comfort, followers, or applause. If we stay silent, the next wave won't come draped in gender confusion flags and forced pronouns. It'll come in crosses, flags, or clipboards demanding your silence. This isn't a drill. This isn't satire. This is the fight for the soul of a free nation. It's time to choose liberty over control, truth over tribes, right over easy. It's time to go right. Thanks for tuning in to this podcast. God bless everybody. Peace.
We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth, they're too scared to say. Go! Truth they're too scared to say. We don't kneel, we don't break, we speak truth they're too scared to say. Get out alone, your voice is strong. Go ahead, music's where you belong. This is Go Right with Peter Boykin and we're just getting started. Go Right.
We don't break, we speak truth that you're scared to say. From the right side of history, light in the way, yeah!